Well, something there, the Queen's hearse passing through Ballater. And really, I think it's a moment just to reflect and think about the Queen. She said in 1957 in her Christmas broadcasts, "I cannot lead you into battle. I do not give you laws or administer justice, but I can do something else. I can give you my heart and my devotion to these old islands and to all the peoples of our brotherhood of nations." And for 70 years, the Queen kept true to her word. Throughout her reign, she was the embodiment of grace, dignity, and above all else, duty, a point of constancy in a changing Britain and a rapidly transforming world. And the outpouring of emotion that I've witnessed over the last few days, we're seeing it in Scotland at this very, very moment. And I think we've got scenes there of the community in Ballater and their huge, huge respect for the Queen and her service. The outpouring of emotion across the country, the Commonwealth and the world, I think, is a reflection of her life and of that remarkable contribution. People with cherished memories of meeting the Queen and of moments where the Queen spoke for and to this country in so many, many ways. It was my huge privilege as a member of the Privy Council to be at the Accession Council yesterday, to be at probably the most significant constitutional moment that I've witnessed in my 22 years in Parliament, and to see that respectful passing, if you like, of the baton from the late Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth to Prince Charles III. And in some ways, the most poignant moment for me was when the ceremony had ended and we were all outside St James's Palace, and the roaring and the cheering from the crowds as we said, "God save the King." And frankly, whatever you feel about the monarchy, the significance of the constitutional moment is to understand the very nature, of our country and our union, and how our constitution works with King Charles as head of state. But he follows 70 years of the most remarkable service to this country. Quite incredible. I recall the occasion on which I was made a Privy Councillor in 2008. It was November the 5th. It was the day after Barack Obama became President of the United States of America. And so, frankly, I had not slept for almost 48 hours. So caught up I was in the election of Barack Obama, who was a friend through our connection at Harvard University. And the Queen was aware of this. And there's a ceremony in Buckingham Palace when you become a Privy Councillor. You kneel before the Queen on a footstool, and you kissing of hands, kiss her hand to pledge allegiance, if you like. And I was so tired that as I sat on this footstool, I knelt over and found my eyes closing and heading towards the Queen's lap. And she gently placed her hand on my bald head. What a start to being in the Privy Council. But she was gracious, she was kind, she was generous, and she totally got the enthusiasm of what had happened the night before with the election of Barack Obama as president. And in my experience of meeting the Queen at those Privy Council moments, she was always interested in what was going on in Parliament. She took a great interest in the Commonwealth. She knew that my parents were of Guyanese heritage, had lots of family across different Caribbean islands, Barbados, Jamaica, Antigua. She had a keen interest in horses and in having a punt, if you might like, the gambling. She knew a lot about the odds, I recall. And in those early years, this is back in 2008, I detected from her a suspicion of social media. I remember being with her at a point at which the royal family were moving on to social media, and I think she had a healthy, is this really going to work? What are all these tweets that people are doing their whole life on Twitter? I remember her sort of frowning. And on one occasion, I also remember the Labour government had changed our bulbs to make them more environmental, and it meant that they were darker. And we walked into the palace, and it was dark. We couldn't see our way. The lights were so dim, and I think the Queen made a point of reminding us that this was actually policy that had come from the government that she was having to implement. So as the Queen makes her final journey from Balmoral down to Edinburgh, those are my reflections.